Howdy, howdy, howdy. Yeah, hi. How you doing? How has your month been? I hope it's going well. My name is Joan, and today I'm coming back with another episode of assignments. It's been a minute, but yeah, while I was away, yeah, I read my Bible. I listened to messages online. I was in church a few Sundays. Yeah, like I feel you grow day by day. So I think today I want to talk about obedience, being obedient, to obey. And this is a message I've had in my heart for some time. And yeah, some of the things I'm thinking about are triggered by other things, which are triggered by other things. But for obedience, it was just, it's that season to obey, I guess. And it made me think of a nursery rhyme, a Sunday school song, not actually a rhyme, just a song, which the other day, after I sometimes prepare, like, what I'm thinking about, and I make notes, and then I share some of the notes when I'm speaking here. So after I'd thought of this message, I think last Sunday we sang that hymn, trust and obey, for there's no other way to be happy in Jesus but to trust and obey. Yeah, I like this Sunday school songs because they are, you cannot sing off key at all. So a small note before I start, I live somewhere near a gun range. That's very funny. So I won't stop. We'll just hear the message as we hear the shots. Maybe it's that kind of message. It needs for us to be alert. So yeah, obedience. I think the best passage that came to mind immediately was the passage in 1 Samuel 15, which talks about Saul and how he got rejected by God. Actually, the whole chapter, 1 Samuel 15, talks about Saul and the one big mistake he did, which was disobedience, and all the favor, all the grace God had for him, like, ikaisha too. And like, God rejected him. And just a small preamble of that chapter, like, Saul had been sent to the Amalekites, and I think I've talked about the Amalekites in other episodes. Like, these guys are super notorious. Hey, like, they really hangaisha the Israelites, like a good one. And Saul had been sent to destroy them and everything, their cattle, their sheep, their rams, everything. And Saul, because he wanted to be a bit clever or greedy, whatever you might call it, but he decided not to do as he had been instructed, and he spared some sheep, some goats. He also, I guess, spared the king. And then for the sheep and goats and rams, he was like, oh, I'm going to come and offer God a sacrifice. And the thing is, but that's not what he was sent to do. So anyway, let me just read that verse, and then now I can continue about Saul. So it's 1 Samuel chapter 15, and the specific verse is 22. But for context, just read the entire chapter. It's only 35 verses. So this, like, it picks it up when Saul is having, like, this conversation with Samuel. And Saul, let me actually pick it up from 20. And Saul is trying to defend himself. Actually, let's just go from 19. And this is Saul and Samuel, speaking. And we remember Samuel, like, Samuel was the prophet who was sent to anoint Saul as king. And Samuel has a great history and story, just thinking back on his mother Hannah and how she trusted God and obeyed God and fulfilled like the promise she gave to God, but that's another story for another day. So let's actually pick it up from 18. And the Lord sent you on a mission and told you, go and destroy the sinners, the Amalekites, until they are all dead. 19. Why haven't you obeyed the Lord? Why did you rush for the plunder and do what was evil in the Lord's sight? Then this is Saul being very quote unquote cocky. But I did obey the Lord, Saul insisted. I carried out the mission he gave me. I brought back King Agag, but destroyed everyone else. Then my troops brought in the best of the sheep, goats, cattle, and plunder to sacrifice to the Lord your God in Gilgal. But Samuel replied, what is more pleasing to the Lord, your burnt offerings and sacrifices, or your obedience to his voice? Listen, obedience is better than sacrifice, and submission is better than offering the fat of rams. Rebellion is as sinful as witchcraft, and stubbornness as bad as worshipping idols. Because you have rejected the command of the Lord, he has rejected you as king. So, like, just that discourse and between Samuel and Saul, because Samuel was reporting what God had told him, that God wasn't pleased, and what had happened, and Saul was, it was like he was sent to do one thing, he was sent on this mission, and then when he got there, he decided to do his own thing. And in essence, this one act made God reject him as king, made God regret ever choosing him as king. And when you read further down, you find that, like Samuel, because Samuel is man like, like us, he was a bit sad, and he was like, wishy. But Samuel was obeying God. Like, after that, Samuel never went to Saul again, because Samuel heard from God and delivered that to Saul, and up to the time that Saul died, like, Samuel never showed up, and he never heard from God again. Like, God totally rejected him. And when you think about that, that whole context, that story, that verse, that chapter, those verses rather, and that chapter, it's very easy to know what you're supposed to do, and to do something else. Even later Paul says that the things he's supposed to do, he doesn't do, and the things he's not supposed to do is what he does. So it's a catch-44 for us. So we have to be constantly aware, lazima tuko tu rada, that we are walking with options, and the options sometimes are shiny, they have drip, zina meta. So it's a choice. It's a choice you have to make to obey. And like, it would be sad that God has chosen you for such a time like this, and he's given you an assignment, and he's given you instructions, and instead of listening, you just decide to do it your own way, and in the end you miss out on whatever he has in store for you, which is always much better than what we have in store for ourselves, which is in our head and our minds. So yeah, that's, like, I think the message I wanted to bring to us today. And yeah, like, it also, like, when I was thinking about obedience, I was thinking even for our vocation, for our personal lives, for our relationship, for marriages. Like, sometimes you have to really listen what God is instructing you, where he's telling you to go. I'm reminded of, like, almost a decade ago, like, when I was just chasing opportunities, and I was doing this project. And the project was actually based a bit far, like 7,000 kilometers away, and I was doing it, in Nairobi, and I did it for a couple of months, and I was doing a fairly good job. So my boss was like, I would want to send you to where the project is, which is 7,000 kilometers away. And you know, prior to then, I had always been thinking I really want to work far, nini. But the thing about this project, like in my heart of hearts, I felt like I didn't want to go. Like, I don't know, something was just off. I didn't feel like going. So they convinced me. The first time I refused, the second time I refused, and then the third time, man, they took me. And you see, like I was a youngin, they took me to this high-end fancy restaurant and bought me dinner. And please, this is not my boyfriend, this is my boss. And this is just a way of them convincing me to go out do this project. So had this, fancy restaurant, fancy meal, and to top it up, I think they gave me the figure for doing that project for a couple of weeks, or was it months? Hey, so I think the dinner combined with the money, like, made everything very vague. Made everything very vague, and all I was seeing were dollar signs. Yeah, dollar signs, and the ambience of the restaurant. So I said yes, and because I don't want to really get into it, I think, at the end of the day, everything has pros and cons. And I went and I did what I did. I did a project, I came back. But when I evaluated, even with the monies, the cons were more, the pros were less. And I think that's how maybe moving forward, I think, like, it's a God thing if the pros are more. And it's a God thing if you're really hearing from God. So I think just an encouragement that to obey is better than sacrifice. That I need to listen from God, then obey His voice and instructions, and do what His will is in my life. All right, so that's it. See you on the next one. Be blessed. Read your Bible, pray every day. If you're feeling some type of way, find community, find a Bible study. I'm actually looking for Bible study material guides. I think a very good friend, resourceful friend suggested one. I'll look it up, but looking for more. I've done with a group at church. We've done Ombi, and Ombi was really nice. I'd heard about it for many years when it came out, and I was glad I was able to do it with our church family. And yeah, I know there are many more Bible study guides, but maybe I'm not aware of them. So if you know of any, just let me know. Bye bye. Have a good one.